Good morning and welcome to the Morning Beagle on NCBN, reaching you live from our studios here in Guzape, Abuja, Nigeria's capital. It's a beautiful and lovely Wednesday morning, and it's good to have you join us on the show this morning. My name is Gabriel Onu, and of course I have Dorothy in the studio with me this morning. Good morning, Dorothy.
Good morning, Gabriel.
Do I say your smile is contagious?
Yes, please, go ahead.
I mean, all is needed. With the kind of economic issues we are facing, I mean, a smile could just light up someone's life right now.
Yes, that's the good thing. You know, people could easily just pass and see you smiling, and because of the smile that you're smiling, the person will smile. So
if I call you officially Dorothy, the smile distributor, will I be wrong?
You'll be right, too. As for today, we're smiling.
Okay, so I had a terrible night. Like, the heat was so massive and bad for me. I don't know if you had the same experience.
I had the same experience. And then suddenly, there was no lights.
Yeah.
And it became worse.
Oh,
like it was bad.
Worse,
it now became worse. But thankfully, I rested.
You rested? In the midst of the heat?
In the midst of all, I rested.
I think I need to go to school to learn where you got your own skills from.
Once my mind has told itself that it will rest. Nothing can stop it.
Anyway, I struggled with the heat and, just tried to see how I would sleep, but it was quite difficult for me. But thankfully, the alarm went off and I had to be up to prepare for work and be here in the morning.
The good thing is that it's for a short while.
Right.
When the rain starts, at least the place will be better.
Very true.
Yes.
So let's hope the rain starts as soon as possible.
Yes.
All right, still watching the Morning Big on NCBN. We're going on a quick break. We'll be back to bring you all the big gist we have lined up for you this morning. Please don't go away.
Welcome back to the show. This is the Morning Beagle on NCBN, the show where we take you to the latest happenings in the world and in the country. So we'll quickly go into our first story. I'll have Gabriel read that story for us. Okay,
our first conversation this morning centers around what is happening in the House of Representatives. We know that in the past few days there's been this debate about state police or no state police in Nigeria. And, we've had both for and against.
Yes.
On a very personal note, I had my reservations about state police. Yeah. But then let's take a look at what the developments are in Nigeria's House of Representatives regarding that issue. The story says House of Reps passes latest bill to establish state police for second reading. Second reading means before you know it, it will get to the committee level, public hearing, and the rest of them, and then maybe become a law very soon.
Yeah. It will become a reality.
A reality indeed. So the story says a bill for an act to establish state police and other related matters thereto has passed second reading in the House of Representatives. Leading the debate at plenary in Abuja on Tuesday, Kalu, who also presided, said in recent times the nation's collective security had been greatly challenged due to upsurge in insecurity cases. Kalu is making reference to the Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives. He said Nigeria operated a federation consisting 30 states and the Federal Capital Territory with 774 local government areas and about 250 ethnic nationalities and more than 200 million citizens. Kalu said Nigeria has a vast terrain spanning over 920,000 square kilometers, but regretted that currently the nation operated a single centralized police system that employed less than 400,000 police officers and men. Less than 400,000 for a population of over 200 million people. That is grossly inadequate.
That's not even half of the population.
Not even less than 1% of the population.
Exactly.
Less than 1%. But I can't remember exactly what the global recommendation for a policeman to a citizen is right now. But I know that we are far below the global recommendation.
Exactly.
If, let's say, the recommendation is, let's say, 1 policeman to 20 persons, I can assure you in Nigeria, we are doing like 1 policeman to 100 persons.
Exactly. And how are they expected to perform?
That is overwhelming. Same thing in the health sector. If, let's say, the global recommendation is 1 doctor to 10 persons, we are doing like 1 doctor to 150 persons. So can you get the kind of result you need from such system?
Definitely, you will not. because the people are already overwhelming the person that is supposed to be in charge. So we wouldn't even get the best from them. You won't get the best services, nothing. So it's not magic. It just can't work. I wonder the magic that has been going on right up to this point, but something needs to be done about this situation.
Yeah, but as bad as that is, I am still not a very strong advocate of state police in Nigeria. And I have my reservations for that, okay? The reasons are not far-fetched. Yes, we have a centralized police system, which has an inadequate workforce, no doubt about that, which, is half the time ill-equipped because they would tell you they don't have the necessary or needed gadgets to operate, optimally as it should be. If you call a police station to tell them that a robbery is going on in your neighborhood, the possible answer you get is that probably there's no fuel in the vehicle or just one excuse or the other. And you don't blame them. It is because the resources to, operate optimally is not there, available. Which means there's the need for us to review the system. True. But if you ask me, is state police the way to go?
It's not the way.
I would say no, because there are several factors or reasons responsible for that.
Yeah.
In Nigeria at the moment, we have state governors who largely operate like what I would call emperors. That is because of the kind of, powers the Constitution has, given them. But, one thing is to have power, and another thing is for you to use your discretion whether to exercise that power or not. Exactly. But unfortunately in Nigeria, that is not the case with our governors. I remember there was a year that former President Goodluck Jonathan said, if he exercises just half of the powers he has as a president, Nigerians wouldn't like him. And that is because the law, our constitution, has given them such power. So the governors have operated in such a way that if you allow state police, the results you get won't be good.
It will not be good. The powers that they will have in controlling the state police.
The state police. So possibly they could deploy the state police, the CP, the IG. I don't know whatever nomenclature they're going to give at that time when, if eventually this scales through, is appointed by the governor. Then imagine what it will be used for. So as much as we need to address insecurity in our localities, and we need a kind of structure like the state police. For me, I wouldn't want a situation whereby the governors in Nigeria would be directly in charge of this other police. I wouldn't want that.
Yeah.
So a bit more of that story said, Kalu also pointed out that the fabric of any democracy remained woven with the threads of constant adaptation to the evolving needs of his society. And he added that at this point in our nationhood, state policing is not only inevitable, but urgently desired to tackle the mounting challenges of insecurity. Well, I beg to disagree with the Deputy Speaker right now. Yes, we have, like I said, we have myriads of security challenges. Yes, we have a deficient central policing system. But if he's saying that the only solution to what we have right now is state policing, then we need to look the other way.
I can understand the aspect of having people that are from a certain zone, like locality. A certain locality, being in charge of the locality. I can understand that one in cases of, these people understand the place, these people know the people that are residing there, so it will be easy for them to be able to sort out a problem. But still, this can also be used as a means of devising your own selfish plans, right? Because you don't know who is the good person. The same people causing the havoc, the same people causing the chaos would be the same people
that will be recruited. And how many people who are recruited into the police actually, how many of them have their backgrounds checked to know where they're coming from?
Exactly. We just keep on recruiting and recruiting and recruiting. And both the good seed, the bad seed is just
everybody.
Everybody is together. So
and then you're wondering why there are most in the system, why there are people who provide information to non-state actors, to terrorists, to insurgents, to armed robbers, to kidnappers within the system. So there needs to be this background check conducted on every individual that applies to join not just the police, but any security agency in Nigeria to be sure that we are not recruiting criminals and people who will serve, who will be like clock in a ways of progress in the future in these places.
Yes. Because whether state police or federal police, this is something that needs to be implemented. This is something that needs to be put in place. This background check, it just needs to happen. Because it's like the problems keep on escalating. It keeps getting worse. So I feel this aspect of, yes, having the people of the locality of the place,
Yeah.
being in charge of it, it's fine, it's a good one. But still, that background check needs to be done, because you cannot just see a person and just know that, okay, this is the good seed. And then
Never. You can't judge by the faces. I mean, looks can be deceptive.
Exactly.
And also back to, the House of Representatives, right? The news is that this bill has already passed the second reading. Well, for me, it's a mixed feeling, but for most people, it's a good development. But I can assure you that by the time this particular bill gets to, public hearing, where they will open the doors of the assembly for Nigerians to come in and make their input into this bill, I can assure you that majority of Nigerians may reject this bill. That is because they feel that we are not politically ripe and mature to have a state police. So if that happens, I wouldn't be surprised at all. Okay. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
But whatever it is, we look forward to what happens with this bill. But largely, if you ask me, I will tell you, Nigeria as a country, we are not yet ready for state police. What we should do at the moment, or concentrate on, is to strengthen the existing police system.
Exactly.
What are those things they are lacking? How can we enhance their operations? How can we make them better? And also, very importantly, call for accountability. Because it is very easy for the leadership of the police to shout, we lack enough equipment. We lack enough funding. What about the one you are giving?
Yes, what have you done with what you have?
So there's need for accountability.
Yes. So that is all we have on this particular story. We will go on a short break and we'll be back with the rest of the stories. Do not go away.
Did you know, in 1975, a brand new car in Nigeria was once sold for 2,000 Naira? And also, in 1975, a ticket to London was less than 100 Naira.
Thank you so much for staying tuned to the Morning Big on NCBN. And with that first story coming from the House of Rep regarding state police or no state police in Nigeria, we move on now to something different in Nigeria's oil and gas sector. The good thing is NATO members called off their strike, and right now the queues have disappeared. Yeah. Some good news at least.
Yes, I remember the last time we were having a conversation, we were saying that we hope that the strike will not exceed the particular day, and it's a good thing that the strike has actually been called off. At least there's small
there's
reduction.
Some level of calmness now.
Yes.
All right, this time it's not about the strike or NATO, but NECA, that is the umbrella body for employers in Nigeria, and of course one of the unions within the oil sector in the country, has a very strong message, and if I may call it, an advice for President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And the story says, NECA oil marketers to federal government, shun pride, review fuel subsidy removal, floatation of Naira. The Nigeria Employers Consultative Association, NECA, has advised the federal government to eschew pride and review the removal of fuel subsidy and the floating of the nation's currency, the Naira, warning of looming unemployment crisis, particularly with the current harsh economic situation. So NECA's position came on a day oil marketers under the aegis of the Natural Oil and Gas Suppliers Association of Nigeria pleaded with President Bola Tinubu to peg the exchange rate of the Naira to the dollar at the 2024 budget benchmark of 750 Naira to a dollar. The DG of NECA, Mr. Adewale Smart Oyerinde, who spoke on behalf of employers in the country yesterday, argued, and I quote, "Some of the policies that are inimical to business include the currency redesign policy of the CBN, removal of fuel subsidy, floating of the foreign exchange, increase in various taxes including excise duties, and most recently, upward review of the foreign exchange rate for clearing of imports by the Nigeria Customs Service. Also included in this is the banning of alcoholic beverage in sachet and PET bottles of less than 200 m. And these measures are swiftly dragging most private businesses to the brink of collapse. The National Bureau of Statistics (NBS) reported a rise in unemployment rate of 5.0% in the third quarter of 2023, from 4.2% in the second quarter of 2023. So this is a very strong advice. I mean, in their words, they said, Mr. President, bury your pride and review fuel subsidy and floating of the Naira. Very strong message, I must say.
Yes, I think it's high time that something is done about the situation, because as it is at the moment, just shunning or overlooking what is going on is not the best way forward. And of course, Nigerians are expecting something. They are expecting to hear something. News. Yeah, so it's a smart move, and I hope that the advice will be taken by the president.
Well, that's why it's an advice, right?
Yeah.
An advice is meant to be taken or waved aside. But in this case, I really don't know. But this is like 7 to 8 months after the president removed subsidy. So will it be very easy for the government to reverse that policy? Well, whether it's easy or not, whether we like it or not, some of the economic challenges we're having in the country, including hyperinflation, you know, cost of living going very high, is as a direct result of the removal of subsidy. And this advice coming from NECA is very much in order. Why do I say so? If, let's say, the president hears the voice of reasoning and decide to review this policy and say, okay, you know what, guys, for Nigerians, subsidy is now removed, or subsidy has been returned. Let's now go back to, we're buying about 200 Naira, right? Before that pronouncement. Let's now go back to 200 Naira. I'm telling you, the jubilation on the streets of Nigeria it's going to be like
you can't even
literally a Christmas day for everybody.
Exactly, because people are going through a lot. There's serious hardship at this moment, and the funny thing is that we thought things were going to actually get better, but things are just becoming worse.
Prices going up on daily basis.
On a daily basis, you know, people are hungry, people are tired, people are angry. So I feel if he actually takes this advice, this is something that will make a lot of Nigerians happy. But it's not just about taking the advice, also know how to strategize. What is the way forward? It's not something that you just take it off and then relax, because there are going to be other consequences of this action.
Definitely. But if I were even President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, I would ask myself, because we had, okay, let's say from 1999 to now, we had President Olusegun Obasanjo, the late Yaradua, President Jonathan, and we had President Muhammadu Buhari. Yeah. All of these persons, tactically, even though we know that Nigeria, because from the figure we have right now, Nigeria spends about 3 trillion Naira annually to subsidize fuel for Nigerians. That is quite high, no doubt about that. And no government will be comfortable spending such a huge amount to subsidize a product for its citizens.
True.
But hey, is anything too big for Nigerians? The answer is no. So all of these persons tactically kept the subsidy running. Not because they were not feeling the heat, but they had their reasons. Probably they didn't want to be in the back book of the people. Because look at what we are experiencing right now.
Exactly.
So if I were the president making that pronouncement on my very day in office when I'm being sworn in as Nigeria's president was one move that I think is not very smart.
True.
Because you would ask yourself, why did my predecessors stick to this?
Exactly. How were they able to manage
the situation? So now coming on board and making that pronouncement on the first day actually cost a lot to the economy and to Nigerians. Now, I do know that during the transition from one government to the other, we had the transition committee, which is made up of people from the outgoing government and appointees from the incoming government, which means that there's what we call also the handover notes. Every minister has a handover note to tell you how he met the ministry, the
so
things he has done.
Be in light with what is going on.
And suggest the way forward. So also the president, which means President Muhammadu Buhari actually had a handover note to the incoming president at that time to tell him, this is what I met on ground, this is what I did, and I think this is what we should be doing going forward. So why am I saying this? If I were President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, I would have waited, seen the handover note of the outgoing president regarding the issue of fuel subsidy.
Understand the situation.
Understand it before making any pronouncement. Because like I said, you should ask yourself, why did this person sustain this policy despite the difficulty?
I feel like even if there was something good that was supposed to come out of this, it would have been that he has actually gone through this, understood this policy that he's about to put in place, understanding that this removal that I'm doing, this is what I am bringing in place of it. Not that it's just...
In terms of palliative.
Yes. Not that it will just be removed and then Nigerians are just literally stuck at the moment, because people do not even know what to expect the next day. I heard somebody say that once you go to the shop and the shop owner tells you the price, just pay. Just go ahead and pay. Because
when you return,
if you return or you mistakenly ask him the price again, it will increase in the in the next 1 minute. So Nigerians are literally at the point of barely surviving. So I feel this is something that if he actually had a strategy already in place of how to tackle the situation, then Nigerians wouldn't have been at this point that they are.
Yeah, and even talking about the dollar too, because one of the reasons NECA gave is the fact that the federal government went ahead to float the dollar. And this happened almost immediately after the removal of subsidy.
Yeah.
And what, based on the papers today, the exchange rate is between 1,850 and 1,900 Naira. Which means don't be surprised if we wake up tomorrow and we're having 2,000
and even
to
more.
$1 or even more. So these two policies, it could have split them. If I'm removing subsidy, let me remove subsidy for now and wait for the next 6 months or 1 year to see how the policy, what it will bring on board.
Yeah.
And then I can now announce the deregulation or the floating of the Naira against the dollar. Because these two things right now have made things really very terrible in the country. And Nigerians are not finding it very easy.
It's overwhelming.
So just like NECA said, probably it's not time for ego. If you've seen that this policy, you had good intentions, no doubt, but the outcome is not palatable.
It's not working.
It's time to sit back, review it. If possible, make a policy or make a pronouncement of return to the status quo, and then see how you can build up from there.
Yeah. So even if eventually you want to remove it, it should be that you have actually gone back and seen, okay, this is what should be done.
Yeah.
This is what can help the nation.
Well, what can help the nation is what we are looking forward to. And I believe for most Nigerians watching right now, that is what you're looking forward to. So if the president takes the advice of NECA and of course the union in the oil sector to swallow his pride, so to say, and review,
shun his pride.
And to shun his pride, yes, and review, the oil subsidy pronouncement. It is something that most Nigerians will be glad about. On that note, we go to bring you Commerce Council on Morning Beagle. Please don't go away.
"2021 came in with a pandemic and seems to be leaving in the same oh my gosh, not again way. Regardless of COVID's mercurial ways, one constant is focusing on intelligent financial tips so that your retirement ahead is secure in wealth, health, and happiness. So, to start the new year off with healthy financial planning, here are top 7 financial tips for how to step forth with a good financial audit in 2022. Invest fully in your retirement savings. The number 1 tip for financial planning is to max out your retirement savings. If you aren't already fully leveraging your retirement savings, then at least increase your contribution by 1%. Once you see that a slight uptake in your contribution does not make a difference in your day-to-day living, you will most likely feel more confident in moving towards adding more to your savings over time. Review your allocations in your investments. The beginning of the year is a good time to audit your investments. Review how you allocate your money by determining if the amount invested meets your risk assessment. If you experience unexpected financial expenditures, adjust your investment contributions to align with your real needs and future goals. Invest fully in your health savings account. HSA stands for Health Savings Account. This is a tax-advantaged account that you can use for qualified medical expenses, assuming your family is covered by your high-deductible plan. So leverage these pre-tax savings by maxing out this savings account. Consider upcoming expenses and plan accordingly. Planning is the best way to proceed when it comes to smart financing. Look ahead to determine what expenses are coming up in 2022 and create a plan. Things to consider are house projects, children's activities, vacations, and donations to charity. Have a sense of the costs for each expense and allocate funds in advance so you know how to invest the remainder of your possible savings. Plan on taking time off. Healthy living begins with the investment in your emotional well-being. To be successful at work, make sure you plan vacation time, even if it means time off at home enjoying a hobby. This much-needed time allows you to prioritize what is important in your life and how you will invest in these areas. These vacations are essential to your happiness, and planning forces you to take the time for yourself. Examine your purpose in life. Start the year by reviewing your personal, financial, and professional goals. An excellent way to do this exercise is to start with the 10-year benchmark. Think about what you seek to accomplish and where you want to be in 10 years. The next consideration is what progress you need to make in 3 years to be on target for your 10-year objectives. Think about factors at work and home. Review security needs. Being hacked is a real-life issue, so having a security plan is essential to your financial well-being. So, do a security audit before you are hacked or have information stolen. Some necessary items to help protect your financial and personal information include a home shredder, password management systems like LastPass or Dropbox, and an all-time favorite security program is LifeLock and Monitored. Is LifeLock that monitors your financial activity along with that of your children and other family members.
And that was Commerce Council. We hope that you have actually been counseled concerning your finances, and the advice that has been given today. We hope that is something that can actually help you. And that is all we have today on the show, on the Morning Beagle. We hope that you join us again for more interesting stories, even as we discuss happenings in the nation. My name is Dorothy Beninga, and of course, my co-presenter.
Okay, my name is Gabriel Ono. Thank you for investing your time with us. Join us tomorrow again, the same time.